All right. Welcome to the third episode of the Love and Sports Family and Life podcast. Not an official name, but that's what we talk about on here. The love of sports, love of family, and know how we love life. So we'll use that as a name for the time being. And if we come up with something a little bit more creative down the road, then we will change it. It is the week of Thanksgiving. Of course, this is a fun time for sports because we have all of them going on. We have college football having their rivalry week. Of course, the NFL is right in the middle of their season, so teams are starting to separate, and the NBA has started. So a lot of good storylines going on right there at the moment. A lot of things to talk about in sports, at the moment. So we'll touch on a few things. We'll talk about a few things, and then we were in our episode this week with the conversation that I want to have with my boys, my twin boys. They are gearing up to play in their high school playoff game. They're getting closer and closer to that state title here or state championship game here in Alabama. And I just want to get their take on how their senior season has gone. What do they think about their opponent that they're going to be going up against this week? But just how the whole recruiting and high school experience has been for them. So we're in our day or our episode talking about that with them. Really excited to have them on. I don't know if they're nervous or not, but looking forward to having a conversation with them about how it's been. Knowing that you're winding down, or winding down with high school. So we'll talk about that at the end of the day. But let's jump right in with rivalry week. It is college football rivalry week. Of course, our big game is going to be the Michigan Ohio State game. Those of us that's watched college football for a while know how intense that game is. It is one of the biggest rivalries, in sports. I will put this rivalry up there with that Red Sox Yankees and the Auburn, Alabama. No, it falls in that category with them. And some real interesting storylines going there. Of course, we've talked over the past couple of weeks about the cheating scandal that Michigan has dealt with. They have decided to settle that scandal and accept the punishment that the Big Ten has thrown down at them. So Jim Harbaugh will not be coaching that game. Sean Moore will be the head coach of that game going up against Ryan Day in Ann Arbor. I think this is a big game for Ryan Day. I remember Coach John Cooper being fired simply because he could not beat Michigan. And Harbaugh has had Ryan Day's number the last couple of years. I know that cheating scandal kind of gets thrown out there, and they say, "Hey, Michigan did not start winning until this cheating scandal came out." But I've watched those games. I'm not an expert. Michigan has dominated the second half of those games. I don't know how much of sign stealing had to do with that. They have literally just ran over them in the second half. So I think Ryan Day really needs to show up. He really needs to coach them guys if he does not want to be on the hot seat. I think it's very important that he coaches a good game. Michigan, on the other hand, of course, they're not coming off a stellar, no, looking win over in Maryland last week. They seemed to struggle on offense, couldn't get things going. It's going to be interesting what adjustments they make for that tough Ohio State defense, and I'm looking forward to be a good game. No, I'm really looking forward to be a good game. I think the big house is going to be rocking. I don't know who has the most pressure, anything like that. I just enjoy the game. And the closer it is, the more excited it is. So really looking forward to that game. Hey, Coach Harbaugh can't be there to coach it, but nevertheless, I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Um, Second, we have Auburn, Alabama. Of course, that is also a huge game, especially down here in the Alabama area where I am. As a matter of fact, funny story. When I met my wife. The way I was able to get my date with her was she's an Alabama alum and she roots for Alabama, obviously. And I said, if Auburn wins this game, you have to allow me to take you on a date. And it just so happened Auburn won that game that year. So I watched that rivalry because of the nostalgic, feeling it gives me because Auburn winning gave me that date with my wife now. So of course when I watch it, I root for it just so I can have some bragging rights over her. So big games this week. Of course, you can go down the list. You have Florida State. Kind of feel bad for Florida State losing Jordan Travis with a brutal injury. That was I was watching that game and I watched his foot turn out and no, it was ugly, and it was one of them hip drop tackles, no, which has been talked about in the media over the last couple of weeks. No, it was one of those type tackles where no defender grabs him, just drops his hip, just puts all his body weight down, swings his legs around, and of course. There's always the chance of the offensive player's legs getting caught under there, and you get those type of injuries. We saw it happen in the NFL as well no, in a couple of games. So it's going to be interesting to see how they want to handle that. I don't know what side I sit on. I personally don't think that is a dirty tactic. I don't think it's a dirty play, but I think it's a dangerous play. So I don't know how that ties into know what they should do or what the next move should be because I think football is a dangerous sport. It kind of upsets me that that's the sport that my kids chose to play. But we still watch it. So what are you gonna say? We still watch it. We still love it. We still are entertained by it. It's kind of like the whole gladiator thing, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way. It's brutal, it's dangerous, but you can't take your eyes off of it. So a lot of good games coming on this weekend. Don't know how competitive they would be, because a lot of these teams in the past when they were pretty even with each other, there's a lot of separation between these teams now. So we'll see what the competitive nature is going to be, but I'm really looking forward to watching some college football this weekend because no, I like football. No, and then of course we have our NFL going on as well. We have some good games on tomorrow on Thursday. Some really good games that's going to be on. I think the day starts with Detroit. I think Detroit has been playing on Thanksgiving since I was a kid. I remember Detroit playing on Thanksgiving. They'll be going up against the Packers. I think our mid game is the Cowboys and the Commanders. And our night game is going to be the Seahawks and the 49ers. And then, our Black Friday game. There's a Black Friday game where you're going to have the Dolphins and the Jets. So, really good games coming on in the NFL this week. Of course, we still have our Sunday slate as well as our Saturday slate for football as well. So, good games last weekend. This weekend, just to jump into a little bit of those games, a lot of things happened in the games that just passed. You had Jacksonville. I'm going to start out with them because they had a bounce back win. They went up to San Francisco and they looked completely outmatched when they played the 49ers. I mean, they just got dominated. I know the 49ers were getting healthy again, but it just seemed like Jacksonville was just that step or that tier behind, and they were just kind of pushed around. But you saw them bounce back this week with a really dominant win. I think between them and Houston, it's going to be interesting how that conference plays out. I think it's going to be very interesting how that conference plays out. Because I can see Houston winning that conference. I'll be honest. I can see them winning that division. I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see that game. Coming up this week, Houston, Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is favored by 1 or 1.5. But Houston's coming. They're going to be something to be reckoned with in that division for a nice little while. You got some really good games coming up in on that AFC North side with Cleveland, I think, and let me look it up here. I think there's a really important game over there in the AFC North when you're talking about the Browns. I just want to make sure and verify that I'm saying this, that I got the right schedule up. So um, you have, yeah, um, you have the Browns going up against no, the Broncos. I'm sorry, Browns going up against the Broncos, who have gotten hot lately. The Broncos have gotten hot, but I'm thinking about the Steelers, Bengals game. And I think that's going to be an interesting game because so much has happened with those two teams. You had Joe Burrow go down on the Thursday night game with a season-ending injury, and then you had Pittsburgh fire their offensive coordinator and Matt Canada. So it's going to be interesting to see how those teams bounce back because both teams still have a chance to win that division. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens there. You know what's funny to me? We watched the NFL, and no, like I talked about, no Jordan Travis's injury, but we watched the NFL, and we're always talking about making the game safer. No, we always hear that we need to make the game safer. We need to make the game safer. We need to make the game safer. But every time you turn around, someone is getting hurt, and it's not these injuries that you can get over in like a week or two or something. It's like injuries that takes them out for the year. I think everyone or every division has a quarterback that is either or has a team that is either playing with their second or third quarterback. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I was going through the different divisions when you got the AFC East, and you see the Jets. We know their issues that they've had with quarterback. I think they're on their second or third quarterback. You have the AFC West. I think the Raiders are playing with their second or third quarterback. Um, you go to the AFC North. No, Joe Burrow's out. They're playing with their second quarterback, and you've had some injuries there. Deshaun Watson's out. So there are two quarterbacks down in that division. You have the AFC South, the Colts. They're playing with their second or third quarterback, and it's the same thing in the NFC. You look at the NFC. Derek Carr is out. You look at some of these other teams. It's so weird because I really think every division is playing, or every division has a team that is playing with their second or third quarterback. Geno Smith has had his injuries. Brock Purdy has had his injuries. You look at no, I don't know how Sam Howell is not injured. He gets hit pretty much every play, but no, Daniel Jones is out. They're playing with their second or third quarterback because I think Tyrod Taylor is out as well. So every division has a team that is playing with their second and third quarterback, yet we're still talking about making the game safer. So I'm like, it doesn't seem to be working. And then on top of that, it's the quarterbacks that are getting injured and you can't even hit them. So what is going on here? And that's just the quarterback position. We're not even talking about the positions that really deal with the violence, the running backs and the linemen and things of that nature. It's just such an interesting thing to me. Like I said, we see this, yet we still watch it because it is such an entertaining sport. So a lot going on the NFL side as well. Some really good games coming. I think teams are starting to separate themselves from one another. We had a really good Monday night game that passed with the Chiefs and the Eagles, and man, um, heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking to see. Um, I thought the Chiefs outplayed them. It's funny because I thought no, I heard someone on the broadcast say it. I thought the Chiefs outplayed them this game, yet they lost. Just like the Eagles outplayed them in the Super Bowl, and the Eagles lost. So it was very interesting to see Patrick Mahomes still do the magical stuff that he's known to do, and his teammates just, I don't want to say let him down, but I'll just say drop the ball. No, because literally that's what happened. No, in every instance, you had Travis Kelsey who had a big fumble. You had Valdez Scantling who had a really big drop. right there at the end of the game. And Patrick wasn't perfect either. He threw that interception in the red zone as well. So um, it seems as if they want to win. They really have to play perfect on offense. They can't make the mistakes that they used to make because they don't have those home run hitters that they used to have. And that's kind of interesting seeing that from the Chiefs because you always just look at them and say, okay, they have the best quarterback in the league. They should be able to overcome any mistakes that happened, especially with that defense they had. Because I don't think Philly's offense played too well. AJ Brown had nothing. I mean, honestly, he had nothing. No, and we talk about AJ Brown as an MVP candidate, and somehow, some way, the Chiefs defense was able to neutralize him to really just nothing. I don't even know if he had a catch. If he did, it was not for much. So even with that defense being as good as it is, as great as it is, um, it seems like that offense still needs to play perfectly if they want to win. Because we know in the NFL today, if you don't score points, you don't win the game. No, so I know we keep saying, no, they're figure it out, they're figure it out, they're figure it out, but we're in like week 10 or 11 or somewhere around there. No, by this time, you normally still aren't seeing these type of issues. So, um, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. I think the AFC is a tougher division when you look at the teams in that division. When you look at the Baltimores and the Chiefs, and I think the Jags are good. I think the Dolphins are a pretty good team. Cincinnati, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. I think losing Joe Burrow really hurts or hinders their chances to catapult to or be as good as some of those other teams or catapult over those other teams. Um, and then you have those teams in the AFC that have dominant sides of the ball, like Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Where they're so dominant on one side of the ball that it helps them win these games that they probably should not win. So it's going to be interesting to see how the AFC shakes out. No, it really is. And I think the NFC is just a 2 to 3 team race. I think you have San Francisco when they're healthy. It's going to be interesting to see who can beat them. I don't know if anyone can beat them if they're healthy. No, and then it's the Eagles who are winning these really close games. The Eagles, and when I say this, I don't want to be misconstrued because I'm not saying they're the same team, but the Eagles seem to win games like the Vikings won them last year where they're just getting the bounces. No, and I'm not saying that they're the Vikings from last year. I'm not saying that at all. This is a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. They have outstanding players on offense. They have a great defense, but they're not playing as well. And they seem to just be eking these games out. You look at all of their games, they're just no, it doesn't matter who they're playing, they're just squeaking them out. You know, Washington, the Cowboys, um, the game, the Chiefs. I mean, they're just barely winning these games. It's like they're getting the bounces. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out in the playoffs because when the 49ers are healthy, it's not close. I mean, honestly speaking, it's not close, which is what makes that Cincinnati win so fascinating because they went up there and they kind of handed it to the 49ers. Now, of course, Joe Burrow was there, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they had that complete team. That defense was playing well. So we see that they can be beat, but man, when they are clicking, whoo, no, it's something, no, very interesting, very fun to watch. So I think it's a 2 team race between them, and then you have the Lions and the Cowboys, who I think are a tier below. I know some individuals will say, "Hey, you're not giving the Lions enough credit." No, it's not that I'm not. I saw Baltimore go up there and beat the Lions by like 30. And I'm not saying Baltimore is not a good team, but I also just saw the Lions just squeeze one out, against Chicago last week. So I do put them a tier behind those 49ers and Eagles teams. So it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs, how they just kind of form out and how they play out. You know, um, yeah, no, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see. how this season ends up, who's going to be where the team seed, things of that nature. I mean, football for me, no football for me, it's always been something that I, was fascinated about. Never could play it, like a professional, but I have had my share of being able to see really good guys play. So love the sport. Love the sport. I got into coaching the sport at some point in time. So I try to break the sport down. No, from my own perspective, at times I do that with my kids, especially with them being in high school. But I'm really enjoying the NFL season this year as well as the college season. So that's what we have, in regards to our football games, and we've had some talk about the injury. So just to get back on that, um, when we talk about this hip drop tackle, I heard individuals who have played the game go back and forth with it. On TV, on these shows, they going back and forth on whether it is a dirty play, whether it's a legal play, should it be banned, things of that nature. And you hear both sides of it, you hear both perspectives. Now, the way I see it is, and I'm speaking from an observer, by the way, no, never played the game, but the way I see it is, if you are a smaller defender, you know, and when I say smaller defenders, I mean your defensive backs and things like that. When you are going up against these guys like a Jalen Hurts or like a Saquon Barkley, who are squatting 700 pounds, it seems that if they're running away from you and you're trying to bring them down, which is your objective if you're on defense, one of the only ways that you're going to be able to do it is try to make them carry your body weight. So you grab them, you swing your legs around, and you just drop, and you just try to bring them down. And there's some danger in that, but as a defender, it is your job to bring them down. So I understand when some of those individuals say, well, it's not a dirty play. It may be a dangerous play, but it's not a dirty play. But I also see, know why some of those bigger defenders, your linemen, your linebackers, things of that nature. Now, why they say, well, you don't have to do that to bring them down. And I don't think that they're understanding that they may be 30 or 40 pounds of muscle, no, heavier. So whereas if someone, just to throw a defensive back out there, Xavier Howard is trying to tackle Jalen Hurts from behind, he's probably going to get drugged for another 10 yards because he's, 180, something like that. Whereas if someone like Fred Warner, who's a little bit heavier, yeah, he probably can break him down a lot easier. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm very interested to see how that goes. Um, when they start to look at the rules and look at the things that they want to talk about here in the next year, because I mean, I see it from both sides. No, I'll be honest, I see it from both sides. No, but no, I'm sure that they'll do their part to make the right decision and to do what they can to put there our players, our players in the right place to be healthy. I know, no, it sounds crazy saying that because we know the history, but no, I think that they will look at that and they will make the best decision for the players that are playing, that they can be a little bit more healthier, so they can be a little safer, as they call it. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see how that works out, how that plays out. So. But that's what we got about football. Like I say, some really interesting, some really fun storylines going on. NBA has started as well. I normally don't get into the NBA until after the playoffs, to a degree. But every now and then I'm flipping channels, and there may be a team on, there may be a game on that I'm interested in watching, and I'm seeing that for the Western Conference, Minnesota's pretty good. Now, I think Ant-Man is taking another step. You see Minnesota's at the top of the division with Denver, and Some of the other top teams that we know about, I see the Lakers are somewhere in the middle, Golden State is somewhere in the middle. Phoenix, every time I look at that, it seems like Bradley Beal, Devin Booker are not even playing yet. So, maybe they're still trying to get individuals healthy, which is also one of the reasons why I don't really watch it right now. I see for the Eastern Conference, no Boston, no, they look strong, no, as they always look. I see that Milwaukee, they're still kind of up there up top. No, I'm hearing and no individual top that Dame Giannis connection is not as strong right now as they thought it would be, but you know they're still doing what they can, to win games. And I'm sure as time goes on, they'll get better. They have a new coach, they'll get better. So we'll see, how that connection works out. I see the Heat, they're on a 8 or 9 game winning streak, maybe 8, 9, and 1 in their last 10 games. It's interesting with the Heat because you hear individuals talk about the Eastern Conference, and that's the team to me that always gets left out. And I'm not saying that because I am Miami based and I'm a Heat fan, but let's just be honest. In the last 4 years, who has been the best team in the Eastern Conference? No, I know that Milwaukee won a championship one year, but when you take all 4 years in its totality, who's been the best team? I would be very interested in having that conversation. No, because the Heat has been to 2 NBA finals and they've been to 3 Eastern Conference finals, and it could be 3 finals if Jimmy Butler hits a 3 pointer. You know, Yet when they're doing their predictions, for some reason, the Heat, yeah, they'll probably be a play-in team. Which they were last year, but as a play-in team, they still made it to the finals. And I look at the standings now, and I'm like, oh wow, the Heat, no, they're up there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I hear the rookies, across the NBA, I hear that they're doing pretty good. So maybe as the game evolves and these young athletes start to come out, and they're going to these different venues and these different areas to play ball, maybe that's helping because I'm hearing that a lot of these rookies they're contributing right away when that was not happening no in the past. So fun time. This is a fun time because we have all of these different sports going on. Of course, we love it. There's nothing better, there's nothing funner than being able to watch sports with your family, with your friends. Holidays are coming up. We love this time of year. Of course, we're still praying for my mother-in-law to make sure things goes well and she's getting better. So I appreciate all of the prayers that you all are getting. But it's just a really good time of year right now when we talk about sports. So hopefully that continues. Hopefully, these players are staying safe. Hopefully, they are doing the things that they need to do to flourish, and we'll see what happens here in the future. So, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and switch gears. I'm gonna run up. I'm gonna see if I can get my young men on with us, and we'll talk to them for a couple of minutes about what they got going on and what they have coming up, and then we'll go ahead and we're in this session. So I will be right back. I'm going to see if I can kind of pause this and go get them, and we'll see if we can get them going. So be right back here in just a second. Of course, if this was properly produced, this will be where we go to commercial. But since I don't know how to do that, and we're still learning, no, I'm just going to mute my mic, turn my camera off, go up, and get them on, and then come back down. So see you all.
Shane, you gonna do this in a blanket? Oh, I thought we were gonna be downstairs. Actually. No, chill out. What time is it?
All right, we are back. I don't know if they know this, but they're recording. Even with all of that they were doing, they are recording. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out on video. So what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good.
Y'all doing good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I have Kadarius and Kadarian Barnes on, and they have some stuff going on as they are finishing up their high school career. They are twins, even though their hair is a lot different, but they are twin boys, and they got a big game coming up this week. They're going against the Ramsey. Is it the Ramsey Rams? Is that what they are? Rams?
I don't even know for real. Ramsey. I don't know about Ramsey.
But they're going up against the Ramsey Rams, who is the defending champs. They are defending champs, and they got a tough game ahead of them. So we're going to talk a little while about that game and what it's been like their senior year, and how the recruiting process and what's it like being just a high school student these days. So first, fellas, Thanksgiving coming up. What are you all excited to eat most? So I'll start with you, Sean. What are you excited to eat the most for Thanksgiving? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm really excited to eat the ham. Uh, I'm also wanting that macaroni for sure. Can't forget that.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not making a ham, so I apologize for that. But we'll see if we can get Granddaddy to do that. What about you, Kadarius? What are you excited to
Did
eat?
he just say the ham? Bro, right?
Yes, he said the ham.
No. Okay. I'm excited to eat. I'm ready for the sweet potato casserole if we have some of that.
Yes, I will be making that. Yes,
For sure, for sure. And
for sure, for sure.
that's it.
That's it. Well, all right. Let's go ahead and let's just jump right into this because I know that you all probably got other things to do besides sit here and talk to your dad. So, you got Ramsey Rams coming up. Of course, the projections they have you all scheduled to lose by a point spread of 22 points. Which is not a close game. A lot of individuals are not looking for this to be a very close game. So I'll ask you first, Kadarius. What's your thoughts on that?
It's kind of arrogant from them, really, because like they ain't really accomplish. 2 years ago, they were 5-6, so they didn't really accomplish much. They only did this 1 year in a row, so I just don't see where all this arrogance comes from. I mean, you can win 1 year, you know what I'm saying? And they're 9-2 just like us. So for them to think they're gonna come over here and just like blow everybody out, especially in the third round of the playoffs, is kind of absurd, you know.
Well, I will say this: it's not Ramsey that does the point spread. It's not them that's saying that. It's the people that are surrounded, the people that are watching the game, that feel like they're going to win. So I'm going to ask you this, Sean. You're on the defensive side. Of course, Kadarius is on the offensive side of the ball. So is there anything that you all have seen on with their offense, Sean, that kind of sticks out that you feel like, okay, we need to make sure we're paying attention to this?
No, sir, not for real. I mean, they run uh trips. I mean, they run it's all basic, honestly. It's all basic. Um,
That's all.
yes, sir, it's all basic.
What about from the athlete standpoint? Do they look like they have athletes out there?
Yes, sir. They do look to have athletes. They got some athletes out there, but we also got athletes as well. So
Okay.
I think that
Okay.
that would be good for us. So
Uh, what about you, Kadarius, from the offensive side? You're on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, you're one of the ones. You're a playmaker. And I'm not saying that just because I'm your dad. I mean, I see you, and I see an ultra talented kid for the both of you all. So is there anything out there on the offensive side or from their defense that you said, okay, that's something we really need to make sure that we shore up if we want to beat this team?
We got to take advantage of the disciplines, and most definitely number six, Quentin, they call linebacker. He's very athletic, but if we scheme against him, we'll be straight. And just got to take advantage of big plays. We're gonna have big opportunities, like a lot of opportunities to make big plays. And if we don't capitalize, we'll be shooting ourselves in the foot. That's gonna be on us. So
Uh, so you all are getting ready to wind down your high school football career. And we've been doing this for a while. We've been doing this. I think we started playing football when you all were maybe 6 or 7 years old. Now, what's the emotions like going into these playoffs games, knowing that it could potentially, be, that last game? And I'll start with you, Sean. What do you say?
It is, some heavy to think about, but I try not to think about it, so it doesn't get to me, because I know at that point when it happens, it's all gonna just come out. So, yeah.
What about you, Kadarius? What, do you-
uh,
what are the emotions as you go into these last couple of games?
I use that to try to feel me to get to the next one. It sucks knowing because like last year I could lose and be like, get him next year. And the year before, get him next year. Can't say that no more.
Yeah,
So
right. This is it. This is the
it,
year.
it's going to hit. It's
This is
going to
the
hit
year.
pretty hard. I've been thinking about it ever since the 10th game of the season. It's been in my mind. So hopefully it's not anytime soon. But
Yeah, we we, we want to get to the end. Now, just a few more questions, and then I'll let you all get out of here, because I know you all got other things that you all want to take care of. So, um, like I stated before, you all are seniors. This is the year that you all will be graduating. So, what has it been like going through school and knowing that this is your last go round? This is it. Now, after this is man status because no, you all can't stay here for too long. So what has that been like knowing that this is kind of winding down? No, what's your mindset like when it comes to that?
Well, I'll start. I'll say for me, it was like, okay, it's time to like lock in. It's time to start maturing. And start, getting
Hold
things.
on, I don't think your brother know that he's recording. He's playing with batteries right now for some reason. But go ahead and it picks up everything. So
oh,
it
my
picks
bad.
up everything. So go ahead, Sean.
No, I was saying that I need to lock in this year because I'm gonna be leaving the house and I won't be having you all or him. So it's really been a mentality of like just just lock in basically.
What about you, Kadarius, as you get ready to wind down in school and knowing that this time next year you're gonna be somewhere different, doing something else? No, what's that do to you? How's that make you feel?
Um, I'm happy, but I'm sad at the same time. I'm actually probably more sad than happy. Cause like this is like transition into the real world, and I don't know. I mean, I'm ready for it, but I don't know everything it'll bring. So it's just like same thing he said. I'm just hoping that I can mature to the level I need to be ready for that when it comes.
Yeah. So, um, well, I will say this, and I'll let you all get out of here. I am proud of you all. No, as your father, I've watched you all grow from little boys to young men. I look at your grades. I look at the fact that you all are already getting accepted into schools for your academic side. No, we're still going through the recruiting process. If you all come on again, we can talk a little bit about what that process is like. But I am so proud of the young men that you all are, the young men that I see you all becoming in the future, even with all the fussing that I do, because I know I do a lot of it, you know. And I'm really looking forward to this game this weekend. I think you all are really going to show out. I will be in the stands rooting for you all. no, I wish you all the best of luck, and I think you all are going to do a great job. So proud of you guys. Love you guys.
Love you too.
No,
Love
I
you too.
really love you guys.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
I thank you all for being on. This is the first time that we've ever had no guests on there. I don't know what all of that stuff means, but this is their personalities. They're really funny young men. We're really, I've been blessed. I'm lucky to have them, as my kids. Great guys there. So, all right, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for being on. You all can go ahead and just stop it on there, and we'll go ahead and we'll close out.
Turn on. These two.
All right. All right. Great guys. Like I said, as a father, I'm always trying to teach them how to be young men, and I'm really proud of the guys that they have become. So, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you all for allowing me to, or those of you that look at this, thank you all for taking the time to, hear my thoughts, hear my opinions on things. I really appreciate that. We will do another show next week. As I was stating before, it is Thanksgiving week, so I hope you all have a great, wonderful holidays. Enjoy your family, enjoy life. Continue to pray for me and my family that things work out. And I will talk to you all here in the future. Peace and love. Talk to you later. Bye bye.